Chair recognizes Chairman Capriglione to close on House Bill 1554.
I'd like to ask him some questions.
Sure. Thank you, Chair, Vice
Thompson.
Chair. First, if I could just close, I definitely appreciate the testimony. I feel like none of it had anything to do with this bill. This bill has to do with whether or not state taxpayer dollars are going to be used in the defense of those who are here illegally in deportation proceedings.
How do you determine taxpayers' dollars? Whose dollars? At what level?
If I could just, one second, I'll answer that question. This does not in any way ban anybody from having legal representation. It doesn't do that. The bill is 21 lines long, and you can easily see that it doesn't do that. It does not restrict individuals' due process. It simply says that taxpayer dollars should not go to the funding of those that some of the witnesses say should and are self-sufficient. There have been cases in Harris County, Dallas, and in Austin where state, city, local, county taxpayer dollars were used to directly fund the legal aid and defense for some of those folks who are here illegally. This bill does not in any way ban it. It simply says that the state won't pay for it, that the city won't pay for it. If a nonprofit, through its donations, is able to go and raise money by legal aid, they can hire pro bono or close to pro bono student attorneys to help those with deportation proceedings. If the federal government wants to basically have and fund lawyers to defend those with the federal law, they can do that as well. This bill just simply says that Texans will not pay for that. It doesn't say that it can't be paid for.
What happens if a county decides that they want to pay for it? How would this bill, if it was passed into law, impact that?
Impact what? I'm sorry. Can you say that again,
Pardon me?
Ms. T? I didn't hear you.
I didn't hear your answer.
No, I didn't hear what you, I didn't
No,
hear your
I
question.
apologize.
Okay.
What happens if a county decides that they want to afford funds for this kind of representation? How would your bill impact that position?
That would be banned from that. In fact, in Harris County in 2020, the Harris County Commissioners Court voted to take $2 million of taxpayer dollars to establish a legal services fund, which, just some quick Googling and ChatGPT shows that some of the people who were testifying here may have benefited from those dollars. They found in other cases here in Texas where, whether it's county commissioners or city council members, and Bexar County as well, that some of them had said that rather than fund, property tax reductions or funding the local police or funding roads, that they diverted this money to go and fund legal aid in the deportation procedures of those who are here illegally. And so what this bill would say is, no. Obviously, we have laws on the book when it comes to, obviously, the U.S. Constitution, providing Fifth Amendment and other rights to anyone under the indigent defense and other options, that none of this obviously affects or touches. This just simply says that, to your point, in Harris County and in other counties, they can't take money away, take it from Texas taxpayer dollars to go and defend people who are here illegally in what is essentially a
How do you
federal
determine
law.
if they're illegal?
Well, if they're in a deportation procedure, a deportation case, then they would not be able to use taxpayer dollars for that whole entire deportation case.
What mechanism in your bill to punish or penalize a county that wants to do this and or continue to do this?
Well, the punishment is that they're prohibited from doing it, right? I mean, it literally says that.
What page are you on?
There's two. So the first one is it says that unless required by the United States Constitution, I'm on line 18, a governmental entity, which is a Texas governmental entity, may not provide public money, including an award, a grant award to any person for the provision of legal services in a removal or other immigration-related civil proceeding regarding an individual is unlawfully present in the U.S. according to the terms of the Federal Immigration and Nationality Act. It will not also seek reimbursement from the state for an attorney provided for the purposes described. This section does not prohibit a governmental entity from providing an attorney to an indigent defendant entitled to representation under Article 1.051 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. I've now read you the whole entire bill.
So what you're saying, if the federal government wants to do it, fine, but if they need due process at another level, shame on them.
No, again, what due process says is that everyone is entitled to a fair fair proceeding, that they will be treated with justice, but nowhere does it say that, other than what I've just outlined, that anyone is entitled to having the state pay for their legal defenses. Just doesn't. I mean, everybody here knows that, especially with what one of the witnesses said, that, hey, they want to be here and be self-sufficient. Again, unless they can prove indigence, they have to pay. And they can go through the federal government if they want to pay. They can go to a nonprofit if they want to pay. They just can't do it with state dollars.
Representative, I appreciate you, and I always like working with you. But are you telling me that I'd rather bog the courts down, increase the backlog tremendously, rather than to give legal aid to persons that may need it and get them through the system and be able to resolve that situation that they're in front of the court with?
Well, I would say that the backlog is probably more of a result for the number of folks that are going through the deportation procedure, and maybe the limited number of attorneys who are trying those cases is probably limited by the number of judges in the courts that exist. But I don't see how that would be substantially changed by providing taxpayer-funded legal services to those who are being deported. I think I heard, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard there's 4 million. That amount of the wait list is not going to be dependent on hiring some students to be part of this procedure. I think the limit on that is the vast number of folks that are trying to go through this system and the limited capacity that our courts have.
Let me ask you my last question.
Sure.
And thank you for being so kind. Sure. What cities in our state that seem to have the largest, that present the largest problem here with this big backlog? What are the cities, if you know?
The cities that have?
Yeah, in Texas.
I'm just going to assume it's the biggest cities based on the fact.
Or counties?
I'm assuming Harris County, Bexar County, Travis County, and Dallas.
Harris, did you say Bexar?
Yeah, from my understanding, the counties that have done this.
What about Dallas?
I'm guessing that Dallas just has a percentage of the population, for sure.
Anywhere else?
I don't know, but I'm guessing it's the largest county. So Dallas, Travis, there, and
Travis, okay.
Harris.
All right. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Appreciate it.